Welcome back, Internet, to another Reddit story. We're going to space. r/space. A topic that I'm pretty much a nerd about, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Jupiter and 4 of its moons. Here we have a telescope photo of our moon on the right, and those 4 dots and the big dot on the left. Well, that's Jupiter and its 4 Galilean moons. They call it the Galilean moons because, well, Galileo discovered them. In either 1609 or 1610, the dates are kind of unsure, Galileo discovered that, hey, there are these floating objects floating around another planet. So these were the first moon objects that were discovered around other planets. And here they are. From left to right, we got Io, Europa, Ganymede, the biggest moon in our solar system, and Callisto. All of them are actually super interesting, and hopefully we'll get to talk to them about them in another video. This is the kind of scale that we have with Ganymede compared to our moon and Earth. And then here we have a comparison of Ganymede compared to the moon, Ceres, a asteroid, Eris, another dwarf planet, and Pluto, the most famous dwarf planet that we have. And you can see why Pluto got downgraded from a planet to a dwarf planet. It's smaller than the biggest moon in our solar system. It's not a planet. Anyway, on to the next one. A Falcon 9 rocket displays a nebula light show as it goes through Earth's atmosphere. These views, called twilight phenomena, occurred during launches from Vandenberg Air Force Base on clear days shortly after sunset. They are particularly visible from Los Angeles, thanks to the sweep of the California coast and the trajectory of the rocket. As the Falcon 9 rises over the Pacific, it reaches altitude 60 to 90 miles above the Earth. There, the sun rays are still shining, and can spotlight the vehicle in the otherwise darkened night sky. You can see the Falcon 9 illuminated as it performs a separation maneuver, with the upper stage carrying the satellite into orbit, and the lower stage returning to land, by Kurt Morgan. So this is definitely a time-lapse video of this rocket being fired off, and as you can see, when it explodes like this, you can see the sunset as it's appearing from 60 to 90 miles above Earth. It's reflecting the sunset that you can't see while on the ground. It's pretty beautiful, right? NASA Mars 2020 rover workers snapped the sweetest science selfie. Houston, we have a rover. Here we have a bunch of scientists working on the cute little guy. The rover is apparently planned to be launched next year in 2020, mid to late 2020, and should arrive early to mid 2021. I believe it's like 9 months to travel to Mars or so. And it's designed to gather up rock samples and leave them there for a later mission to be returned. Basically, it's going there to collect stuff. But I think it's pretty cool. We're sending another rover. Like, the thing's the size of a car, and it's going to be cruising around the surface of Mars. One thing that I didn't know about until I actually saw this article is that you can watch them build it live. Yeah, which I thought was kind of cool. But there's no one there right now because it's Sunday and Father's Day, so that makes sense. But I'll put a link down in the description if you guys want to watch the live feed from the JPL laboratories in California. A German-Russian mission called SRG will detect millions of supermassive black holes, many new to science, and hundreds of thousands of stars. And here's an artist's rendering of what the SRG satellite will look like. Have you seen your body in X-rays? It looks completely different, says Rashid Sunyev. We will do the same with the universe. Sunyev, an eminent Soviet-born cosmologist at the Max Planck Institute for Astrophysics in Garching, Germany, could be about to get his long-held wish. On the 21st of June, a joint German-Russian mission called Spectrum Röntgen Gamma, or SRG, will launch into space to chart an unprecedented map. It won't be the first space telescope sensitive to high-energy, hard X-rays, which offer astrophysicists a window to otherwise faint objects in the universe, but it will be the first able to create a full map of the sky in this part of the spectrum, one that will give researchers a new way to track the universe's expansion and acceleration over eons. So as of right now, we can look at different objects in X-rays. I mean, a lot of the images you see from Hubble and stuff like that of like Nebula aren't actual in the visible spectrum of light. They look at it in a different spectrum and then they shift it over to a visible spectrum of light, and that's how we get a lot of images of different gas clouds and stuff like that. So right now with X-rays, we can look at far, way off distant objects in the space, but we can only pinhole, we can only choose what we want to see. This thing will give us a broader spectrum of far off distant objects and will allow us to see huge parts of the universe we haven't even seen before. Within a half a year, we will cover the whole sky, says Peter Pedrell, an X-ray astronomer at the Max Planck Institute for Extraterrestrial Physics, also in Garching and a principal investigator for the mission. SRG's main scientific goal is cosmological, to create a 3D map of the cosmos that will reveal how the universe accelerates under the mysterious repulsive force called dark energy. Dark energy, I guess in a nutshell, is a mysterious energy that is everywhere in the universe, hypothesized to be everywhere in the universe. The universe is actually expanding at an accelerated rate, meaning that it's actually getting faster and faster. Like, galaxies are getting further and further apart from each other, or closer together depending on which direction they're going, faster than they should, and it's accelerating. And what scientists think is that this mysterious energy force called dark matter is everywhere in the universe, and it's actually pushing things away. So by the satellite being able to detect further things away using X-rays, you can detect how much further things are traveling away or towards other objects. So you can kind of help see how it's affecting more parts of the universe. Cosmologists can probe this force through galactic clusters, whose distribution encodes the structure and history of the universe. Galactic clusters are basically a bunch of galaxies that are clustered together. Hence the term galactic cluster. Anyway, SRG will map a cosmic web of about 100,000 galactic clusters by detecting the X-ray glow from their intergalactic plasma and from the plasma filaments that join them. The mission will also detect up to 3 million supermassive black holes, many of which will be new to science, and X-rays from as many as 700,000 stars in the Milky Way. If you guys want to read more on this article, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description of the video. It's actually a pretty good read, I recommend it. Earth is approaching the same meteor swarm that may have caused an entire forest to explode in 1908. This just in, CBS News is saying, Earth is approaching the same meteor swarm that blah 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 blah, the same thing I just said. And back to you, Tom. So what they're referring to is the Taurid meteor swarm that passes by Earth and was thought to have caused the Tunguska explosion in the early 1900s in Siberian Russia, which ended up knocking over 80 million trees over an 800 square mile area. The blast was thought to be an equivalent of a 15 megaton bomb, about 1,000 times bigger than the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima in Japan in World War II. So yeah, it's a big thing, and it's coming for us. Again!
Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes. The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, you don't really have anything to worry about. This meteor swarm comes across the Earth about twice a year and has come across the Earth about 100 times, or more than 100 times, since the Tunguska explosion that happened in Russia. So yeah, articles like this are just clickbait. It's like, oh no, meteor swarm that once exploded an entire forest is coming back. Sure, the potential exists of something perhaps by chance coming close to Earth or hitting Earth or becoming a near Earth object, which is between Earth and the moon. But the likelihood of something like that happening is slim. So yeah, don't worry about it. Thank you again for joining me on another Reddit story thing. Science, space. Something I kind of wanted to do. I'll probably occasionally make these videos. I mean, there's stuff that happens all the time in space, but there's just a lot of stuff that are like photos of the moon, photos of the galaxy, photos of this, photos of that. And you can't really do a video on just photos other than that Jupiter one, because that one was cool, because I could talk about the moons briefly. Anyway, if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe if you haven't. Let me know what you think about this new space thing. And I will see you guys in the next video, so until then, later kids!